kids and helping the public schools and collaborating with the public schools as they should be. But the real driving force behind the charter movement today is privatization. Many Wall Street hedge fund managers have placed their bets on the charter movement, as have many entrepreneurs who are excited about the money to be made in this burgeoning new education industry. The charter movement will put public education at risk, even though study after study shows that charters on average are no better than regular public schools. Opening lots more charters, given the track record, is not a prudent investment of scarce public resources. Now, the push to create more charters has several sources, one of them being the entrepreneurs, but also the Race to the Top program, President Obama's signature issue. It encourages the creation of more charters. Despite the evidence, it also encourages two other ideas of dubious merit. One of them is merit pay, and the other is evaluating teachers by student test scores. Now, I should mention about Race to the Top that I have spoken in many states that have accepted the money. When I was talking not long ago in New York State to the New York State School Boards Association, many superintendents came up to me afterwards to tell them what a costly burden Race to the Top is for their districts. There are districts that are getting $40,000 or $100,000 or $200,000 that will spend millions to implement the mandates. And they say this is going to totally suck up their budgets, and they'll have no discretionary money for anything, just having to comply with all the requirements for data and assessment and evaluation and bringing on more and more people to carry out these functions, which they felt were not useful to them. This is a costly program to implement. Now, merit pay has been tried in the schools again and again since the 1920s without producing positive results. The latest study, the most rigorous, the most scientific study ever conducted, was released last September by Vanderbilt University's National Center on Performance Incentives. The economists who carried out this study knew that merit pay schemes had been tried and had failed again and again in the past, and they assumed that the reason they had failed in the past was because the bonus wasn't big enough. The assumption being teachers are fairly lazy, and so they need a lot of money to incentivize them, because it's such an easy job, right? So in this particular experiment, which was very rigorously designed, they offered a sizable bonus. This time it would be a bonus not of $3,000, not of $5,000, but $15,000. And the teachers in the treatment group who could get a substantially higher math score for their kids in middle school stood to gain $15,000, a big bonus. But at the end of 3 years of study, the economists found that both the treatment group, which was eligible for the bonus, and the control group, which was not, got the same results. The bonuses made no difference in the outcome. Neither group got higher scores than the other. Turns out, and this is my interpolation, both groups of teachers were doing the best they knew how, and the money didn't matter. Well, within days after the release of the Vanderbilt study, which showed the ineffectiveness of merit pay, the U.S. Department of Education released nearly $500 million for merit pay plans, with the promise of another $500 million yet to come. This is not fiscally responsible. In a time where teachers are being laid off, it's wrong to pay bonuses, which are ineffective to begin with. And poll after poll has shown teachers don't want them. Teachers overwhelmingly reject merit pay because they understand that the school functions best when there's teamwork and collaboration. Teachers don't want to compete with the teacher in the next classroom. They want to be able to sit down together and share what they know about the children they're teaching. They want to be able to talk about the needs of Maria and Johnny, and why one is doing well in one subject and not the other, and what works in this class but not in that class. Merit pay doesn't allow that to happen. Even in the business world, there's considerable skepticism about performance pay. W. Edwards Deming, the guru of business, was a staunch opponent of performance pay. He said that performance pay sows dissension, destroys teamwork, and undermines behavior that undermines the organization. Everyone in a merit pay system looks out for himself instead of the long-term goals of the organization. Deming said, quote, "A merit rating is alluring. The sound of the words captures the imagination. Pay for what you get what you pay for, motivate people to do their best. The effect," he said, "is exactly the opposite of what the words promise. Everyone propels himself forward or tries to for his own good on his own life preserver. The organization is the loser. The merit rating rewards people who conform to the system. It does not reward attempts to improve the system." Unquote. It does not produce innovation. It does not encourage creativity. It just encourages me first. Deming said, "Most people want and deserve to take joy in their work. It is management's moral obligation to create a system that enables them to do so. Given a chance by management and the system, most people will seek fulfillment in their work by doing the best they can." MIT economist Dan Ariely has done numerous studies, which he reports in his book called Predictably Irrational, that financial incentives do not produce better performance in business or in any other fields. He says financial incentives actually depress performance. Contrary to what we think, study after study, and Ariely describes these, the studies show that people work harder and smarter when they're driven by idealism and by a sense of purpose, and that they more so than they are when they're promised extra money. As Ariely puts it, social norms are more powerful than market norms. If merit pay doesn't work in business, why would anyone expect it to work in education? Why would anyone think that offering to pay teachers more would make students work harder? It's the students who have to work harder, not the teachers. If it doesn't work in business, where the bottom line is measurable in dollars and profits, then why expect it to work in education where the bottom line is not so easily measured? The bottom line in education cannot be just test scores, because our goals in education are so much larger than test scores in reading and math. Scores are an indicator, they're not a goal. They should be used to diagnose and solve learning problems, to help students and their teachers get better. The goal of education is to help children become good men and women, to become responsible citizens, to teach them the knowledge and skills they need to make their way in the world, and also to help them develop good character and high ethical standards. This too is part of the work of the schools, and we don't have measures for these goals. In fact, we really won't know what a good school was for about 20 years. When we make tests the overriding goal of schooling, there are negative consequences. Teachers will teach to the test, they will teach to bad test. Districts and states will lavish